Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers' best bet or daily package for only $2.
Welcome, everybody, to Wager Talk Today. I am Lawrence Presman, back. Missed yesterday's show. Steve Merrill did an outstanding job. Teddy covers with me, and Teddy, man, we got a ton going on this show. Firstly, it's $2 Tuesdays. Las Vegas Cris is the $2 Tuesday handicapper at Wager Talk. He will be joining us. We're going to look at the NFL, a Minnesota Green Bay game, Buffalo Atlanta game, and the Philly Washington game. All three, the Buffalo game's not so sexy, but two of the three. And then we got Andy Lang coming on, literally 10 minutes notice. He's got 3 prop bets for us, all going tonight, and Dave Sharapan at the end of the show. Brother, I want to talk about my NFL Sunday. I haven't had a chance to, but first, how are you? What's going on? Did you learn anything we need to know about last night?
So, last night, I talked about what did bettors learn. COVID for college bowls has turned into a giant pain in the ass. The NFL has to report everything. The NBA has to report everything. Colleges, not so much. So you're not hearing about the outbreaks until they're enormous. And that's a major issue. From a handicapping standpoint, this is tough right now. Normally, I probably have 10 bowl plays up right now, a 5% or 2. Can't do that this year. I'm going day by day as we speak. So unfortunately, and we're hoping it's short term. We're hoping this is a temporary nightmare with COVID across sports. But I hate to bring this up. It feels like I bring up what did bettors learn? It's COVID again and again. But right now with college bowls, it's tap the brakes a little bit, at least for this bettor. Difficult right now to get a good gauge on who's healthy and who isn't in the college football world. What about you, Prez? What did you learn last night?
Not much, Teddy. I started Alex Rider while watching NBA on the small TV. I'm going on to season 2, episode 3. It's spectacular. Teddy Frenchie Betts writes, getting his daily dose of Teddy. And what I thought about was, I'm the pill and you're the water. You can only get the Prez down if the Teddy is around. That's how I feel, man. Poison
Merrill
and the cure. What?
Merrill does a fine job for either one of us when either one of us is missing. So
he does.
Merrill can be the water as well. Or what are you? The water, the pill?
That's
not an analogy that makes sense to me.
I'm tough to swallow.
Yes.
And you need a little help from Teddy. Come on. Makes total damn sense to me. I had a great NFL week. I didn't get a chance to talk about it yesterday. Had a 5% on the Minnesota Rams game over. Lucky as hell, but we got there. And I lost my only play Sunday, 3-team 10-point teaser. The LA Chargers could not get it done. And Teddy, I want to talk to you quickly about that. Here we have a team, must-win game. I mean, they have to beat Houston if they're going to make a run at the playoffs. Obviously, they're not out of it. They can still win out and get in. But now they got Denver up. What do we do in a situation where a team is literally in a must-win spot and lays an egg of epic proportion? Is this team done, or is this Sunday the right spot to then jump on the Chargers?
I'd rather have the Chargers this week than last week. Sure. And you say that it was the Chargers laid an egg. The Texans played the best game they played all year.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, they said it
Bills
after the
was
game.
awesome.
Quotes. So it wasn't all Chargers stinking up the joint. But I talked about it in the 6 Bs yesterday. Bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books. That was a game the house needed. The pros were all over the Chargers. The Joes were all over the Chargers. And the Chargers were on every money line parlay, every teaser, every 6-point teaser, every 10-point teaser. So That was the teaser killer that the books needed on Sunday, because it wasn't a great day for the house. It was an okay day for the house, but surely wasn't a great day for the house. That was probably their best result, was the Texans winning that game outright.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I'd like to be on the Chargers too this Sunday. A -5.5 against Denver. I think they bounce back. But conversely, Teddy, did Houston win their Super Bowl and they're packing it in for the season? Now they're +12.5 against San Fran. What side would you rather be on now in that game?
Yeah, there's been a big move down on San Fran with Garoppolo for Lance over the course of the last 24 hours. And I don't know what to do with that game yet. I'm still thinking about that one. It's not a game where it's San Fran or pass for me in that contest. It's not Texas off the back-to-back upset wins, off their best game of the year against a physical team like San Fran in the trenches. It might be a problem for Houston. I'm not in any rush to get to the window with the Texans this week.
I got to text Ralph after the show. I want to know from Ralph how to deal with this Washington Reds football team. They get throttled. I'm curious what the bounce back is in those type of situations. And Ralph, I'm sure, will have that info for us. So stay tuned Thursday, Ralph Michaels. Let's bring Las Vegas Cris in. We got so much to discuss with you, dude. It is absolutely ridiculous. But let's start off with the 2021 Stations Casino Last Man Standing champ. That's unbelievable. Every single year, you win some contest in Vegas and make a shit ton. Congratulations, Las Vegas Cris. How many did you split with at the end there?
Well, we started with like 6,200 people. Thanks, by the way. And it was down to 6, and I knew somebody else that was in it because by coincidence, I had helped them split a pot a few years previously because I knew that they were at the end, and I found the other person for them. So we developed a friendship, and it went from 6 to 2. It was only 2 of us left, and in that format of a contest, you're basically, because you have no way to hedge, you just chop it. It's stupid because otherwise you're putting $150,000 on a game, and what's the point of doing that if you can't hedge it? So that's why I had to split it. I would have loved to have kept playing it, but we continued privately, and I got it privately.
Nice.
Happy to split it.
Well,
way to go, man. Very lucky in these contests. You just have to have luck. It's not all contest strategy or anything like that. You got to pick winners. You got to have some luck.
But with that said, and Teddy knows this, you literally win these contests every single year. Luck obviously takes.
Throw that graphic back up because that's this. Okay, I used to think my friend Fezzik was the best contest player that I've ever seen. He won back-to-back super contests, which no one's ever done before or since. I give him all the credit in the world. Great contest player. But I got to think that Las Vegas Cris, with this resume, look at that. That's insane. That's undoable. That's the best there is at contests. Cris, I give you the most congratulations I can give. That's a pretty big score. What you going to do with the money? And how much of it did you have to tip out? How much of it did you have to split up? Is this one of those deals where you're walking away with a bunch of cash and you're going to go buy a new car? Or is this one of those deals where you had to distribute significant portions of your winnings?
No, I keep I did very well, and I don't have to worry about that. Tip is varies from person to person, and it's really funny because last year in Circa, I talked to some people. And everybody has different answers about tipping. It's one of those hidden, ugly topics that people don't like to discuss because they don't want to be a cheap Charlie and they don't want to over tip. So it's very funny. So I don't discuss tipping in public because that's a personal decision and I don't want to influence that. But I kept most of my half, and I'm very happy, but it's business as usual. I work, all day long, every day, and I'm working on getting plays in. And believe it or not, it's you can't get overly excited about it. I'm doing miserably in Circa and Super Contest, so that's where I really wanted to do better, but I'm failing miserably. So
yeah,
next year.
you and me both. You and me both. I partnered with Carmine Bianco on the 5-pick contest over at the Circa, and he calls me up on Wednesday this past week. He's like, "What are we going to put in this week?" I'm like, "You picked the 5 damn plays. I don't even know I have no idea how we did. I don't even follow it anymore." And the crazy thing is, I'm having an absolute freaking monster of a year in the NFL. So it's like, do I blame Carm for our shitty position? Yeah, I'm going to blame Carm. Carm, it's your freaking fault. I mean, come on. I give out 3 plays every single NFL presidential address all year. I am 31-16. If I could take that 66% average and I've made it 5 plays, I would have won the Circa. Carm.
Well, why are you not playing? Why not just play your own entry? I mean, playing partnerships
is very,
next
year
difficult.
I'm going to do that. No. Next year.
The other thing that's definitely worth noting is that with the contest, the number of entries they're getting, 67% isn't winning it anymore. 70% is what it takes to win the contest right now. Though in first place in all of them, in the Super Contest, in the Circa, and the Circa Millions, it's all the leaders right now are at 70% plus. That's what it's going to take to win.
If you're at 67% right now, you can be out of the money very easily. Very easily.
Yeah. I came second in the when it was the Hilton way back when. Didn't see a lot of my money as a guy with 2 initials was my proxy, and something about tax, and anyway, kept most of it. Whatever. Move on. Chris, you are the $2 Tuesday handicapper at WagerTalk, a 5% NFL play. You're up just unbelievable profit in the NFL over the last 5-6 years that you've been handicapping at WagerTalk. So guys, listen, in all seriousness, I mean, Chris is as good as it gets in the NFL. He's got a 5% play. It's literally only $2. So head over to WagerTalk.com and grab that. Chris, let's turn our attention to some actual picks. Let's start with Minnesota, Green Bay. I mean, I've been telling everybody all year, Minnesota's my catfish team. You think they're hot, they're not. You think they're not hot, they're hot. You're into men, they're a woman. You're into a woman, they're a man. It's like nothing. This team could be so damn good, yet they're not. And now we have them at plus 6.5 at a total of 47. How do we handicap this game?
Well, I like the Vikings in this game. I think it's a prime spot for Green Bay to show a little weakness. If I'm not mistaken, Minnesota already beat them once this year, didn't they? Yeah. So, but Green Bay's skating by. Their metrics are not very good at all. There's been open discussion on Twitter about it, and it's just amazing how they keep on winning some way, somehow. They do just enough to get by. And believe it or not, over the last 5 weeks on my trailing numbers, I've got Green Bay 4th from the bottom of losing value against the average team. They're just getting by. And I know Minnesota is in a must-win situation. It's a divisional rivalry. Points are at a premium. I'd let this thing sit around and see if you can get a 7. Maybe it pops back up. But this is just ripe for the points to come into play, and maybe even Minnesota to swipe a victory here. It would be a scary teaser proposition for me.
So I want to ask you, because the post-game quotes from the Packers after the win over Cleveland We're all about it's time to put our foot down. We got to close these teams out when we have a chance, et cetera, et cetera. Does that concern you here for Green Bay after a pair of wins, no covers, in which they weren't playing necessarily their best football in the fourth quarter? Do you worry about execution at a different level this time around with the focus for the Packers and the chance to clinch home field throughout the playoffs?
I don't think they have any urgency to do anything differently. They're getting by. I think they'll step it up in the playoffs at this point, but they're trying to get through the regular season. Overall, believe it or not, I have the metrics on these two teams a lot closer than anybody would imagine. I didn't even have Green Bay in the top. I had them rated 9th is the highest category for the season. The last time I looked, which is ridiculous. I mean, this is a team that's going to win the conference, and they're not even in the top 10 in offense or defense. How are they doing it? So that's why I like Minnesota in this game.
Yeah, listen, Chris, they get to play Detroit twice. They get to play Chicago twice. They get to play Minnesota twice. But with that said, man, I think Dallas is the best team in that conference myself, and I don't think they're going to be able to beat them in Green Bay in January. So that home field advantage is absolutely massive. Talk about a team that I love, Buffalo Bills. I hate the spot for the Bills here, Chris. 2 games in the last little while against New England, they just had a huge emotional upswing. This has to be a letdown spot, but I don't know how you can bet Atlanta. Minus 14.5 for the Bills. How do we bet this game?
Yeah, I traditionally would leave off these double-digit games, but I think Ralph may have even tweeted it out a while back.
Yeah.
These double-digit favorites have been covering at a very nice rate, at least coming into this season. So I went back and checked through my records, and I was leaving games on the table, quite frankly, and I've started to play them this year and with some good success. And there's a big difference that in previous years you used to have 3 or 4 really bad teams in the NFL, which would really which would change the whole dynamic of the whole league. This year you have 6, 7, 8 very bad teams, and that's changing the whole structure of how the competitive nature is between these teams. And not that it's becoming like college, but you're seeing teams get some distance. And when Buffalo plays bad teams, they beat them up. And that's the type of team I want to have, especially playing it at home. And another thing, when Detroit beat Arizona, I already had Detroit better than Atlanta. So Atlanta is like the second worst team in the league to me, and somehow they have 7 wins. They've only been their point differential is only worse with 4 different teams. It's a miracle that Atlanta is surviving so far. And I have this spread at 20. Oh, I'm not even going to say it's over. I'll just say it's over 20 points. So I'm happy to lay the 14.5 here.
So are you worried at all about any kind of letdown from the Bills off the Patriots win, the biggest win they've had all year, division game for week 18? Is this a flat spot for Buffalo?
I worry about every game. So nobody can be a mind reader, and anybody that says they are, these teams do unpredictable things every single week. So I can't worry about that. What I do know and what the facts show is Buffalo likes to beat the crap out of bad teams when they get a chance to. And it looks like they set the course of the ship right last week, and they got the monkey off their back, and they're looking to sail right into these playoffs. They went through their slump, and hopefully for them, they're peaking at the perfect time. And Atlanta's going to be the perfect whipping boy, quite frankly.
Yeah, Las Vegas Cris joining us, everyone. He's the $2 Tuesday handicapper over at WagerTalk. You can get his 5% NFL play for only $2. And Chris, one of the things you said is about Buffalo, when they play bad teams, they're beating up on them. They're averaging over 15-point victories against these bad teams. So what you're saying makes total sense. Let's move to Philadelphia versus Washington. And I find this just a fascinating spot because you have a team like the Washington where they 3 weeks ago, they felt like, hey, we got destiny in our own hands. We can make the playoffs. We likely just need to win one against Philadelphia, maybe two, but everything's in our control. Then they go and lose 3 games in a row. They gotta be feeling like, damn it, man. It slipped past us. We're out of it now. Pebble Beach, here we come. Yet they're playing Philadelphia tonight. There is a route for them to the playoffs, but they have to win this game. Philly's got Dallas waiting for them, and Dallas is might need to win that game too for home field advantage. So I think this game will be competitive. I just don't know if Washington can put it together. How do we handicap this game?
I think Washington is basically doing the inverse of what Buffalo is going to do. And Washington started off poorly, and they went through this hot streak, and they're back to who they were supposed to be. The injuries have taken its toll on the team. And as you referenced, Prez, they've got such a narrow window. They're in that classic must-win, must-lose situation where they put themselves in a position where people think that they're going to get the best game out of this team that doesn't belong there in the first place. Washington's been near the bottom the entire year in my rankings. And in this Philadelphia, I've had to pivot on them. I wasn't a believer in them. They were in the bottom also, and they're still not that high, but they've climbed steadily. And there's big betting groups that have been on them even before I was, and I was betting against them, and now I pivoted with them, which is what I kind of like. Similar to New England last week, I bet New England 8 games in a row, and I pivoted the other way in Buffalo and won. When my metrics switch on betting from betting on or against and vice versa, it's usually a good sign. And I think this point spread should be about 6.5 or 7, and I just see a lot of value on it. I think Philadelphia is going to take care of business.
Teddy, we're going to hold up on the follow-ups. We've got so much still to go. Cris, outstanding work, man. Again, congratulations on your win. Congratulations on your season in NFL. Guys, make sure to grab his 5% play. It's only $2, WagerTalk.com. We will be right back. Teddy's Big Game Breakdown, Andy Lang, Dave Sharapan, Daily Presidential Address. Man, this show just started.
We know this business is loaded with competitors and copycats, and we are very proud and extremely excited to be one of, if not the premier sports betting information provider in North America. From a massive library of free picks and handicapping videos, daily shows, podcasts, and articles, our free live odds service, a team of the nation's finest sports handicappers supported with top-rated customer service, we pride ourselves on being the leaders in our industry, always looking to evolve and stay multiple steps ahead of our competitors. With that being said, we truly do want to let you know we appreciate your patronage. Moving forward, 7-day all-access packages will be reduced from $119 to just $99, and our 30-day all-access packages are also being slashed moving forward, going from $349 to under $10 a day at only $299. Our new pricing is already active and available just by going to your favorite handicappers homepage right now.
And Teddy's muted. I will translate. What he's saying is that
Am I still muted? Handsome. Is this better?
No, man. Lakers, Rockets. Let's go.
It is time for today's Big Game Breakdown. Let's talk Lakers and Rockets in the association for tonight. Right now, the LA Lakers, 5.5-point road favorites. Total in that game sitting, let's call it 226.5. We have seen a little bit of Lakers money and a little bit of under money so far this morning. Lakers have not played good basketball of late, obviously. They've lost 5 in a row. They've got players coming in and out of the lineup, et cetera, et cetera. But tonight's game, probably as good a spot as they've been in at any point during this skid. 2 days off since Christmas, and what happened? They had a chance to practice. Russell Westbrook. This is the first time we're able to practice in a while with COVID and the different things that have been happening with our team. It was good to be able to do that, get some reps in with some of the things, and find ways to bring positives out of our losses. And of course, Westbrook was awful on Christmas Day. He was 4 of 20 shooting. He has a better game in him than the one we just saw. LeBron. I don't really care about the way I play if it comes in a loss. When I'm on the floor, I'm just trying to do my part and hold myself accountable, hold my teammates accountable. That's all I can ask for myself. It's been difficult through this stretch, but that won't stop me. We're going to continue what I've been doing. The Lakers are saying the right thing. This is a spot where they've had a little bit of extra rest and a little bit of time on the practice floor. And they're facing a Rockets team that, hey, they had a nice little stretch, late November into December, where they were hot for a couple of weeks. That was then. This is now. They are dealing with, 6 rotation players out of the mix with COVID. They played last night. They've got a couple other guys who are hurt. It's a Rockets team that was a bottom feeder to begin with that is now dealing with all kinds of issues. They're facing a Lakers team that's focused, rested, and with a practice under their belts. I think LA snaps the skid tonight. I think if they snap it rather easily, give the Lakers minus the 5.5. And there's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Yeah. Great stuff, Teddy. And, practice is important, guys. I don't know if you know this, but Teddy and I do a full practice every day before the show. We run the entire show from start to finish in practice. Oh, my God. Could you imagine? I think Teddy would kill me if he had to do this show twice. Some business to take care of. It, as we spoke about, it's $2 Tuesday at WagerTalk. It's also $2 Tuesday at Sports Memo. And we have a new show to announce, guys. This show is a daily show. You can find it on our Sports Memo channel at YouTube. And it's called The First Family of Vegas. Dion and Joe D'Amico do the show together. They are siblings. They will argue sports during the show. It should be fun. If you guys think I am a character, watch Joe D'Amico on this show, because I'm like the Teddy if Joe was on this show. That dude is a dude. Anyway, $2 Tuesdays at Sports Memo. Dion is the $2 Tuesday handicapper. So is Joe. Dion is 6-1 in NCAAF best bets on the year. She's got one up now. It's $2. And Joe, 29-9 in his NCAAF bookie buster plays. Brother or sister? Yeah. I don't know. It could be husband and wife. I'm going with brother and sister, Teddy.
It's not brother and sister. They're married.
It's husband and wife?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well done.
Dude, we have like 80 freaking handicappers. I messed up. Rewind. Okay. So are they bringing their kid on?
I don't know.
The laughter in my ear is precious. Anyway, Joe is the $2 handicapper as well at Sports Memo. He's got a NCAAF bookie buster. Take advantage of that. Only $2. Andy Lang. I didn't know they were husband and wife. Whoa. Like, come on. It's not like I run Wager Talk anymore. All I do is show up and do this show.
Yeah. Well done, Prez. I'm guessing that really
we
does
all have a
we
good
don't
laugh.
practice the show. we definitely don't practice the show.
Yeah, there you go. We definitely
it.
don't. Andy Lang joining us, everyone. And Andy, man, you are always the guy that steps in with no notice, and always the guy that has about 3 minutes to do your entire segment. Teddy and I will not interrupt. Go.
Well, I was actually glad when you called me. I have a lot of NBA plays, and NBA has been a cash cow for me recently. This is the sport I'm running the best in, have been for over a month. So really excited. And when you said, do you have any plays? I was like, do I have any plays? Yes, of course I do. First play, I like the Cleveland Cavaliers -5 tonight. They won 7 out of their last 8 games, coming off a 45-point win against the G League team of Toronto. They're an incredible 24-6 ATS this season, 9-1 in their last 10. And this is going to be a huge Garland and Rubio game. New Orleans is the second worst defensive team against point guards. So Cleveland is going to have no problems attacking from the perimeter. Cleveland is also may get Okoro back. He's off the COVID list. The only way he doesn't play is if he doesn't pass conditioning, but they're so shorthanded, he's probably going to play. That's a huge boost for them. New Orleans, this is a really bad spot for them. They've won 4 out of 5, but all of those wins are very, very shaky. They beat a bad OKC team. Pelicans only won by 3 when they had a full squad. SGA had 33 from the point guard position. Second win, an OT win against Milwaukee when the Bucks were completely a skeleton roster. No Middleton, no Giannis. Win number 3, bad Portland team, but again, they give up huge points to point guards. Lillard had 39. And then they beat Orlando, but Cole Anthony, point guard, 22 points. Ingram played in all those games. He is out tonight with an Achilles injury. Valanciunas he's coming back from being sick, non-COVID illness, so I got to question his health. And then Josh Hart, a sprained ankle in the last game. He's questionable. Even if he plays, it's going to hamper him a little bit. I think this is a great spot for Cleveland. It's a very confident play. Cleveland Cavaliers -5. Let's move on to a couple of player props. Tyrese Halliburton. This guy has been money in the prop world. Taking him again over 29.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He's really shined since they lost a lot of their players to the COVID list. He's gone over this total 5 straight games. The last game, he barely got over this total, but the game was a blowout. He only played 32 minutes. He's been playing 36 minutes or more. The spread on this game is only 5.5, so I think this should be a close game. I don't see a blowout. The Thunder give up a lot to the point guards. They gave up 29 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists to Josh Hart. Previous game against Phoenix, Devin Booker and Chris Paul, they combined for 46 points, 12 rebounds, and 14 assists. So it's just a great matchup for Halliburton. He's very active, very athletic. He can get points, he can get rebounds, he can get assists. It's everything we like in this category. And then finally, Kemba Walker, over 28.5 points, rebounds, and assists. So they're playing the Timberwolves tonight, and this play is mostly due to the depleted Minnesota roster, especially at the guard position. Edwards, Russell, they're out. Patrick Beverley is a game-time decision, but he didn't play last night. And the Wolves get the win against the Celtics, but they give up 26, 10, and 4 to Jaylen Brown, a shooting guard. And they give up 24, 8, and 6 to Pritchard, a point guard. So their defense on the perimeter, terrible. Kemba Walker's been playing absolutely fantastic ball since he came back, sailed over this total in all 4 games since his return, and he's played 37 minutes or more in all 4 of those games, shooting 40% from 3 his last 4 games. And he's averaging 26, 8, and 7 since his return. I like him to have a big game tonight. So Cavaliers -5, Halliburton over his PRA, and Kemba Walker over his PRA. Those are my plays for tonight.
Just one quick follow, Andy. I do want to ask you about the first of the 3. You said you had a lot of confidence in Cleveland tonight. Do you worry at all off a team off their biggest blowout win of the year where every shot was falling, and now they got to go face an opponent and maybe the shots won't fall as easy tonight? I know some handicappers are a little bit reluctant to back teams like Cleveland off a 144-point outing in which they hit 22 3-pointers and were just making everything that they threw up there. Did you worry about the shots not falling the same way for the Cavs, who have to not just win, but win by margin this evening?
I think there are certain teams in the NBA that you absolutely could be worried about this certain situation. The Cavaliers have just shown, you look at their ATS record, 24-6, they don't really have these letdown spots. And listen, we cashed a 5% on Cleveland against Toronto. That was just a really, really bad team that Toronto threw out there. It was a confident one. They didn't have to overexert themselves. And New Orleans is depleted as well. So I think they get a really, really nice spot. Garland and Rubio, are really going to be able to tear apart this New Orleans team. So I don't expect a letdown spot. There are other teams, Houston Rockets come to mind. They normally do bad off of a good game, but Cleveland doesn't really have that personality to them. They've been fighters all year. When they lost Colin Sexton, they didn't miss a beat. This is a team that plays with a lot of confidence. They seem to be well coached. They've navigated their roster issues beautifully. They've been out with Mobley, they've been out with Jared Allen, and they haven't missed a beat. So I don't think this team really has a lot of that letdown spot built into them, especially with Garland and how good he's been playing.
Andy Lang, everybody. You can follow him at Twitter at Bump Sports. He's also on the NFL Presidential Address, and he's a dude. Andy, get the hell out of here, bro. Thanks thanks.
Can I say one thing? We just uploaded a 5% play. All the numbers made sense. And so we do have a 5% play that is going tonight. Uploaded it just before the show went off. So very, very excited about that. We cashed our last one on Sunday. So go grab that one.
Yeah, and while you were saying that, Andy, Dave Sharapan was like going, wow, 5% from Andy Lang? I got to get that. Don't worry, Dave. For you, it's free. I'll send it to you. Dave Sharapan joining us. New hat, new look, all black. What's up? Happy holidays, brother.
What's up? Hey, happy holidays to you as well. Big day. I don't know. Is this the first time we've been doing a show while there's been a football game on a Tuesday? I don't remember being on with you guys while there's a football
You're not allowed
game.
to mention there's a game on, because then people click us off and put the game on. But yes, there is a game on if
Dave.
you want to watch it with
no game on right now. Auburn and Houston have been delayed. They're on a timeout, a long timeout.
Hey, I don't want any drama. I'm not trying to start any drama. I just realized that there was a big steam move this morning on a game, and I was like, wait a second. I don't remember there being. Okay, no game. What's up? What do you got?
Did you do anything special these holidays?
Man, it's a big. It's been a fun week with the kids home from school and just nonstop stuff going on. It just, we went to the movies before the Christmas, and then we got one of those Oculus things. And
I got one.
Oh my goodness!
Drop dead.
I haven't been able to put it on.
Dead.
Drop
Dave,
dead.
Buy the game. Drop dead. Oh my God, dude. I go into that Oculus playing Drop Dead. I don't come out for 3 hours. Yeah, you get to kill a bunch of zombies. It's freaking excellent.
Really?
Dave, okay. Teddy, I'm going to hand the mic over to you, man. Get some actionable info out of this guy.
Sure. So it's bowl season, Dave. And obviously it's been a bizarre bowl season with games getting canceled, with COVID outbreaks around. Nonetheless, there's lots of games on the board, and there's plenty of betting action, even with all the uncertainty. Let's run through today's slate, at least, real quick. Obviously, Houston and Auburn have already kicked. Louisville and Air Force, what are you seeing in terms of who do the Sharps like? Who do the Joes like? Who do you like? Louisville, Air Force.
I think
one kicks at 12:15 Pacific.
Yeah, the move's coming on Air Force. That's what I've heard. That seems to be where it's going. But the games pick 'em. I mean, it's floated around this number. I think there's been a lot of hesitation because you saw in the Army-Mizzou game, the class difference. You worry about, like, is the talent level that much better than the Service Academy level? But then what the Service Academy brings to the table that much more to overcome for that team? Louisville don't play no defense. I mean, I expect Air Force to be able to run the ball and score. This feels like an over game there. And running down the rest real quick, Texas Tech and Mississippi State, the number, I mean, this is the Mike Leach revenge game, all this other stuff. I mean, is he going to run it up? It certainly feels that way. Texas Tech has been somewhat of a disaster, and it feels like 10 has reached a point where you might see a tip over the 10, but I think we've reached a point with that number. NC State, UCLA.
Real quick, Dave.
Yes.
I'm starting to see 10.5 popping for that Mississippi State Texas game. And it feels like all that money's about the coach. Where it's, okay, Mike Leach, but it's the players on the field that actually have to win this game by margin. We're not seeing the buyback at +10 with Texas Tech. Do you think we'll see any before kickoff?
Very little. I think there's just too many questions about Texas Tech, and like one of the new things about bowl season recent history is these opt-outs, and it's affected lines so much, like in the bigger games coming down the road later this week, where lines have flipped. I mean, 3-4 point favorites are now 1 point dogs and stuff like that. I mean, so I think the Texas Tech just has too many questions. I don't know if we'll get the buyback there.
How about NC State,
UCLA and
UCLA?
That's a tough game. Honestly, I don't know. I've heard people on both sides of it. I don't know. It feels like an over game. Like that. That's one where I don't know who's going to stop either team. UCLA is going to be able to kind of dictate what they do in running the ball. NC State should be able to score as well. Might be one of those last teams with the ball will win the game. And then the last game tonight, the West Virginia-Minnesota game, is going to be the complete opposite. Late start out west, which is good for us. Late start for people back east and everywhere else. I don't know how many people are going to be up, but you might get put to sleep with this one. Under's got to be the play there. And then I don't know if West Virginia, they got to score 20 points to win this game, and I don't know if they can. This might be one of those like 24-13 kind of row the boat Minnesota wins. But I want to look for every reason to take West Virginia in the game. I just can't find it. Their big running back is opting out. He's not playing in the game. They got a lot of, turnover in the coaching staff there. So again, these bowl games, I mean, it's been very difficult to kind of get a feel for the game before the day of the game. I mean, the day of the game, the moves have been pretty good.
Well, let's take a look at I know it's difficult to get a feel before, but let's at least take a quick look ahead at the games on tap for tomorrow in college football bowl action. We have Maryland, Virginia Tech as the early game, Iowa State and Clemson after that, and Oregon and Oklahoma in the evening. What are we going to do with that three-pack of bowl games for Wednesday, Dave? Where is the who are the pros betting? Who are the Joes betting? And who do you like?
Of all the games, I think, the most entertaining game looks like it's going to be Oregon and Oklahoma. I don't know whether it's enough points to trust Oregon in that spot. I want to like the dog in that one. But my favorite play, I think, is Clemson. I can't get Iowa State right. It took me a while during the season. I was on them, and because they were supposed to be much better, but they turned the ball over too much, and I think that'll be the difference in the Clemson game. And I think the steam is going to come on Clemson. So that one I like the best. Maryland, Virginia Tech, I feel like sidewise, it's almost a coin flip game. I mean, huge move on Maryland has come. They're favored on top. The game's at Yankee Stadium. There's no real – I don't know how many people are going to be at this game. Virginia Tech, you would expect to just – I think they're live to win the game. Let's just put it that way. But, again, that's more of a coin flip there. That one feels like an under to me. But, again, just feel plays. Haven't seen any big moves. I mean, a lot of these people that are betting this stuff to actually limit plays and move numbers are waiting until the day of the game. And I think that's been kind of the course of action with a lot of this stuff. You're seeing a lot of late play come in, from the books. The guys are telling me, like, look, man, we're not seeing a lot of the stuff that we used to see because you just don't know with the state of COVID and everything else.
Dave Sharapan joining us. Dave, outstanding stuff. Let's move to NFL. I'm not going to ask you any specific questions. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? Any suggestions?
Well, I mean, I was listening earlier to Las Vegas Cris, who, that's a big win for him for that contest. But, like, he's thinking right with a lot of things, and I think you're seeing it reflect in the market. I mean, Philly's got to be a play this week. The number's too short. You're going to see that one steam up. Coming off the game last night, I mean, the Dolphins can't lose, right? I think Tennessee's going to be a play this week against the Dolphins. I think books are trying to find that number where they can go to get the Dolphin money. But I think the pros, I think everybody's kind of waiting in lie to get the money on Tennessee. So maybe that number will get to 3, where that'll be the automatic buy point for Tennessee. All these big spread games are tough because there are some bad football teams. I mean, just bad football teams. I just got a text 5 minutes ago from a pretty trusted source that it sounds like there may be some COVID issues with the Colts, and I think you're going to see that number come down. So if there's any higher than 7.5, you got to grab it, and 7.5 is probably a good number on the Raiders. I'm not a big fan of that, but I mean, if you tell me that Wentz or Jonathan Taylor or somebody big is not going to play or get put on this COVID protocol, that's going to impact the Colts. So look for that number to move, based on that information. And then Monday night, look, I was going to come on in the full Steeler regalia. I mean, even despite the fact that was their worst game probably of the season against Kansas City. I mean, they were terrible. But we all knew between Marco and everybody else and talking about the games and stuff, like the Steelers' first half, they're the worst team in football. Not even close. And the Chiefs blew them out in the first half. Now, I think this is an over-adjustment. The Cleveland Browns are 3-point favorites in January in Pittsburgh on a Monday night. Oh, man. I mean, yes, Cleveland has a better roster and Cleveland has, this and that, but Cleveland still has mistake-prone Baker Mayfield throwing passes. The Steelers' defense can make plays, maybe, to get turnovers and win an ugly game. I mean, 41's the total, under. Steelers likely win the game. I think getting 3's a good number. That's it for now. I mean, I think there's going to be a lot more. Watch the Rams game. I think Rams money is actually going to get played. And Baltimore, they're just out of guys. Like at this point, we've been waiting for Baltimore to win a game, and then they go for 2 and lose. And then they're going to win a game, and then they go for 2 and lose. And then they got finally caught up to them with the Cincinnati game. This team may be done. And the Rams are going in a different direction than Baltimore. It's a hard game on the road. Yes, it's an early game for West Coast team in the cold and all that other stuff. But the Rams are just better and healthier. And I mean, the last game is Kansas City in Cincinnati. They're going to drive this number up. This Kansas City number is going to keep going, keep going, keep going. I think we saw Cincinnati grow up the last couple of weeks. That was a tough loss. Could have gone either way against San Francisco. They bounce back, go to Denver and win an ugly road game, come home and destroy and sweep for the first time in almost 12 years or something, Pittsburgh and Baltimore in the same year. Since he's not going to come, and be competitive in a game against Kansas City, one of these two teams can't cover. It's going to. I think Cincinnati's a live dog to win the game for sure, plus the points.
We've got just a moment left here with Dave Sharapan at SportsBK Consig on Twitter, short for Sportsbook Consigliere. Of course, Dave, a longtime odds maker both here in Las Vegas and in the global community, now willing to share his thoughts with us. Last question I want to ask you, Dave.
Yes, sir.
When the books are dealing with the same issues that the bettors are dealing with, how's it working out for the books? Have the books gotten killed the last week with the sharp money? Have they worked out? They've done real well with what's going on from a bookmaker perspective right now, dealing with the same issues that we're dealing with from this side of the counter?
Well, the NFL, the last couple of weeks haven't been good for the books. I mean, a lot of people have had some good weeks. I think that the battle is like in the daily sports, like the NBA. And I mean, college basketball has been dark for a few days, so it hasn't been as bad there. But the NBA has been an absolute nightmare for books to try to gather the information necessary to try to just keep the lines flowing and moving and not get on stale numbers. And, a couple of the texts of the guys that are still in the books that I talk to are like, they call it COVID steam. There's COVID steam. I mean, there's steam games. And for people that don't know, that's when a game is bet and then it just moves and moves and moves because the steam comes behind it like a locomotive. Well, now it's COVID steam. If somebody may be out or somebody may test positive, it's actually moving games. And from the book's perspective, it's frustrating because you don't know what's behind a lot of the moves. When somebody comes in, a sharp guy or a limit play, a house player, you know why the line has to move. Now you're like, Are they going to test positive? Are they going to, what's going on? And it's a lot of uncertainty. And probably reason number 99,625 why I'm glad I'm a media guy and not in a risk room right now, because now somebody has to be stationed on social media or information sites to try to get the alerts before the bettors do, so you can kind of get your number in position. So it's been a nightmare, but I'm wearing the Knights hat before we get out. The Knights today come back. Hockey's back. Thank goodness. We got something else to look at, something else to watch. Short number. I know. You got a lot of issues up there in Canada. Please, we got to get this hockey going again, please.
Dave Sharapan, everyone. Dave, outstanding work, man. Thanks for your time today. We'll see you next Tuesday. Dan the man, let's go. Daily presidential address, and then I got So where did we leave off last Friday on the daily presidential address? Well, let's recap. Denver and the Raiders under the total. Chicken dinner. Falcons and Detroit under the total. Steak dinner. Kansas City first half. Dinner in the most expensive restaurant in the world. And what about today? Well, today, 2 quick plays, both in the NHL. Just real shout out. I'm absolutely rolling in everything right now, literally everything. My NFL has been insane all year, 58% average, up 30% return. My NHL, I'm on a 5-0 NHL run before it started. My NBA is rolling. I've won 8 of my last 9 days of betting. I got an NBA play and an NHL play up tonight, guys. Check it out over at WagerTalk. My 2 plays, Vegas in regulation. I'm with Dave Sharapan on this. Vegas is a buy-on team moving forward from my perspective. And the San Jose Sharks over the total tonight as well. That's really it, guys. Thanks for the show. Thanks to Dave Sharapan, Teddy Covers, Andy Lang, and Las Vegas Cris. I got a Montreal smoked meat sandwich I got to go eat. Teddy, take us home.
That's going to wrap it for the Tuesday edition of Wager Talk Today. We'll do it again tomorrow. Same time, same channel. 9 a.m. here on the left coast. Noon for you back east. Between now and then, enjoy the games, flex up, and good luck.
When WagerTalk acquired the iconic Gold Sheet, the goal was to turn it into a modern, user-friendly product providing high-quality content and data. We're well on our way to achieving just that, and we want to show you how far it's come. From Friday, December 24th through Sunday, January 2nd, enjoy free access to the Gold Sheet. Just head to goldsheet.com and sign in using username free@goldsheet.com and use password free to get access to our NFL, college football, NBA, and college basketball content for the entire week. No credit card, email, or registration is required. Check it out. And if you enjoyed the new and improved Gold Sheet like we know you will, lock in savings now and grab our 2022 football Gold Sheet for just $99. That's right, until January 1st, 2022, we're taking $100 off the regular price of $199. From all of us here at WagerTalk Sports Memo and the Gold Sheet, we wish you a wonderful holiday season and a prosperous new year.